Poor Mr. Shepherd. Martin Clunes, the lovely Martin Clunes, plays Mr. Shepherd, the new teacher at St Bernadette's. And when he turns up, almost immediately he loses his memory. He gets his head kicked in by the school donkey. So really the whole story is about trying to get his memory back in time for Christmas, because he can't remember Christmas, he can't remember his own little girl, he can't remember that he's getting married on Christmas Eve. So the stakes are very high. The children have to get his memory back in time for Christmas, and they decide to use flash mobbing as their device. Mr. Poppy decides that would be the best way. So it's very musical, this one. It's very epic. They go from Coventry to London to New York. It's a really big story, actually, and it's quite emotional too. It'll shed a little tear. Well, I think as a filmmaker, you always try and do bigger films, better films, that's obviously what you try and do. So, yeah, it's just a bigger story. Emotionally, it's more epic. He goes on a much bigger emotional journey. And physically, the locations are just, there's more of them, there's more people in it, there's more children in it. It's just a bigger, it's more blockbustery in its look and its feel than the other two, which have been quite small. But it doesn't lose any of its heart and any of the sort of nativity style, which is all about, feel-good, honest, authentic storytelling. Mr. Poppy is like the heart of the nativity films. Without Mr. Poppy, they kind of don't exist, really. He is the guy that is, the child within the man's body that really drives forward, is the catalyst for all change in the films. And his nemesis is Mr. Shakespeare, who's the complete antithesis, the complete opposite of him. He is so strict, he doesn't believe in anyone really, and Mr. Poppy believes in everyone, and that everyone is talented and everyone is useful in society. So they have a battle, and it's very important that that sustains itself in the nativity films. But talking about new talent, we had Martin Clunes, who's absolutely wonderful, but we also had the amazing Catherine Tate, who's just like comedy genius, who agreed to come on board, and she's really beautiful in this. She does play a straighter role and a romantic lead, but she's so gorgeous in it. She blew me away. Well, I did think the first one would be a one-off. The second one, I thought that was the end, and now here I am talking to you about Nativity 3, so I'd be silly to say it definitely is the last, especially as we've just been invited to go and do Nativity Down Under in Australia, which just sounds so much fun. I don't know if we'll do it, but it sounds fun, and I love making these films. They are a joy to work on.
Is there a particular Christmas message behind this film that you're hoping audiences, big and small, take away from it?
Well, I think it's a film about identity. I think it's about trying to find out who you are and what's important and what your values are, because Mr. Shepherd as a man, when he loses his memory, he loses all his baggage, he loses his identity, he doesn't know who he is. So he can reinvent himself. And I think it's about saying, if you could start again, who would you be? What is the best version of yourself that you could be? And I think that's a really interesting story for Christmas, and I hope people have a good time thinking about that.